Hello, and welcome to Enhancing Comprehension Strategies for Universal Design in Learning, Checkpoint 2.4. My name is Nekisha English, and I will be your host in this professional development. Overview: Introduction to UDL, Digital Divide and Impacts on ELLs, Digital Divide and Impacts on Hard of Hearing and Deaf Learners, Understanding UDL, Checkpoint 2.4. Integrating UDL into lesson planning, breakout session, resources, lessons, and activities. Introduction. Let us first begin by defining universal design for learning and its principles. Next, we will learn what UDL Checkpoint 2.4 is all about. Then, we will conclude our introduction with the importance of addressing diverse learner needs and the digital divide. UDL, or Universal Design for Learning, is an educational framework aimed at designing flexible learning environments and experiences that can accommodate the diverse needs of all learners. UDL is based on the premise that variability is the norm in learners, and therefore instructional methods should be flexible enough to accommodate this diversity. The framework emphasizes providing multiple means of representation, engagement, and expression to optimize learning for all students. I've listed in detail the three primary principles of UDL. In this professional development, we will begin focusing on multiple means of representation, the what of learning. This principle focuses on presenting information and content in multiple formats and media to accommodate different learning styles, preferences, and needs. It involves providing various ways for learners to access and understand information, such as through text, images, videos, audio recordings, and hand-on experiences. According to UDL guidelines listed on CAS.org, UDL Checkpoint 2.4 is about promoting understanding across languages. This includes, but is not limited to, English language learners and ASL learners who are hard of hearing or deaf. I would also like to make mention of the acquisition of domain-specific vocabulary and linking pronunciation in both dominant and heritage languages. For example, while teaching mathematics using the word quotient. So why is addressing diverse learner needs and comprehension so important? There are many reasons why this is important. Number one, respect for learner variability. Every learner is unique with diverse backgrounds, experiences, abilities, and preferences. Recognizing and honoring this variability is essential for promoting respect and dignity in education. Access to content. Diverse learners may have different strengths and challenges when it comes to comprehension. Some learners may struggle with traditional text-based materials, while others may thrive with visual or auditory representations. By addressing diverse needs, educators ensure that all learners have equitable access to content. Engagement and motivation. When instructional materials and activities are tailored to meet learners' diverse needs, they are more likely to be engaging and meaningful to students. This can increase motivation and interest in learning, leading to deeper comprehension and retention of information. Reducing barriers to learning. Failure to address diverse learner needs can create barriers to learning. For example, students with learning exceptionalities, English language learners, or students from culturally diverse backgrounds may face unique challenges in comprehending content. By providing means of comprehension, educators can help remove these barriers and promote expert learning. Promoting equity. Equity in education means providing every student with the support they need to succeed, regardless of their individual circumstances. By addressing diverse learner needs in comprehension, educators contribute to a more equitable learning environment where all students have the opportunity to thrive. Preparation for real-world challenges. In the real world, individuals are often required to comprehend information presented in various formats and contexts. By practicing diverse comprehension strategies in the classroom, students develop essential skills for navigating a complex and diverse world. Fostering empathy and inclusivity. By valuing and accommodating diverse learner needs, educators model empathy, inclusivity, and respect for differences. This helps create a classroom culture where all students feel valued, respected, and supported in their learning journey. Addressing diverse learner needs and comprehension is not only a matter of educational best practice, but also a matter of social justice and equity. By embracing and accommodating learner variability, educators can create learning environments where all students have the opportunity to succeed and thrive. On the next few slides, we will discuss how to address the digital divide for English language learners, deaf and hard of hearing learners. The digital divide impacts English language learners in various significant ways, affecting their educational opportunities, language acquisition, and overall academic success. I have listed the primary impacts, but for the sake of time, I will only discuss the impacts related to Checkpoint 2.4, Language and Comprehension. Limited access to technology, devices, internet, educational inequality, resource availability, homework, and assignments. Language development, interactive learning. Digital tools and apps can provide interacting and engaging ways to practice language skills. Without access, ELLs miss out on opportunities for personalized and adaptive learning experiences that can accelerate language acquisition. Supplementary materials. Online resources such as language learning websites, educational videos, and interactive exercises are often essential for practicing English outside of school. Lack of access can hinder continuous language development. Parental involvement, digital literacy. Many ELL families may lack digital literacy, making it difficult for parents to support their children's education, navigate educational platforms, or communicate with their teachers. Language barriers. Parents who are not proficient in English may struggle to help their children with digital assignments or understand communications from the school, further isolating ELL students from necessary support. Teacher preparedness and support, training and resources. Participation, motivation, social and emotional impact, isolation, stress, future opportunities, digital literacy. Proficiency with digital tools is increasingly important for higher education in the workforce. ELLs without access to technology may lack the digital skills necessary for future academic and career success. Higher education. Addressing the digital divide for English language learners involves several strategies. Providing devices and internet access. Schools and communities can work to ensure that all students have access to necessary devices and reliable internet. Creating accessible learning materials, developing resources that are linguistically and culturally appropriate for ELLs, and ensuring they are available offline. Parental support programs, offering digital literacy programs for parents to help them support their children's education. Teacher training, providing professional development for teachers to effectively integrate technology in ways that support ELL's unique learning needs. Policy advocacy, advocating for policies that address the digital divide and promote equitable access to technology and resources for all students. By implementing these strategies, educators and policymakers can help bridge the digital divide and ensure that English language learners have the tools and support needed to succeed academically and in the world. Again, I have listed the primary impacts, but for the sake of time, I will only discuss the impacts related to Checkpoint 2.4. Here's how the digital divide impacts hard of hearing and deaf learners. Access to assistive technologies. Deaf and hard of hearing learners often rely on specialized assistive technologies such as hearing aids, cochlear implants, captioning services, and visual alert systems. Limited access to these technologies due to economic disparities or lack of availability can significantly hinder their educational experience and participation in digital learning environments. Availability of accessible content, remote learning challenges, communication barriers. Communication is vital for learning, and the digital divide can create significant obstacles for deaf and hard of hearing learners. Without access to devices that support video calls with interpreters or real-time captioning, these students may struggle to communicate with teachers and peers, leading to social isolation and academic challenges. Educational inequity. The digital divide exacerbates educational inequities. Deaf and hard of hearing learners who lack access to necessary digital tools and resources are at a disadvantage compared to their hearing peers. This can lead to lower academic performance, reduced participation in class, and limited opportunities for academic advancement. Teacher preparedness, parental support. Parents play a crucial role in supporting their children's education, but if they lack digital literacy or access to technology, they may be unable to help their deaf or hard of hearing children navigate online learning platforms or access educational resources. Social and emotional impact, lack of inclusive design. So, what can be done? Providing access to assistive technologies, ensuring that all students have access to necessary assistive devices and software, creating accessible content, developing and using educational materials that include captions, subtitles, and sign language interpretation. Teacher training, equipping educators with the skills and knowledge to use digital tools that support accessibility. Enhancing internet access, improving broadband infrastructure to ensure reliable internet access for all students. Inclusive design, advocating for the development of online platforms and educational tools that are accessible to all learners. By implementing these strategies, we can work towards closing the digital divide and ensuring that deaf and hard of hearing learners have equal access to education. So now that we have talked about the digital divide, let us continue by understanding Checkpoint 2.4. In the next few slides, we will break down the three principles of providing options for comprehension: perception, how learners gather information; language and symbols, how learners understand language and symbols; comprehension, how learners make sense of ideas and information. Perception. Provide various formats for presenting information. Examples: visual, auditory, tactile. Visuals and audio work well for English language learners and deaf, hard of hearing learners. Tactile can be helpful to students with low vision or blind learners, while fingerspelling is good for deaf and hard of hearing learners. Language and symbols. Offer alternative formats for text. Example: audio versions, translations. Use graphic organizers, diagrams, and symbols to support understanding. Graphic organizers can help support understanding for ELL learners. Learners on the spectrum can use speech-generating devices that can help communicate preferences and emotions with symbols and pictures. Comprehension, providing scaffolded learning experiences, offering multiple entry points into content. Examples, varied reading levels, interactive activities. One of my favorite online learning platforms is commonlit.org, which allows teachers to tailor reading assignments for individual reading levels. Check out the resources page for the website. Finally, I want to bring in the key points of UDL before we go into our breakout sessions and remind you of how integrating UDL into lesson planning and delivery can help support expert learning. Integrating universal design for learning principles into lesson planning and delivery involves a thoughtful approach to designing instruction that addresses the diverse needs of all learners. Here are a few suggestions on how to do it effectively. 1. Understand UDL principles. Familiarize yourself with the 3 core principles of UDL: multiple means of representation, multiple means of engagement, and multiple means of expression. Understand how each principle can be applied to accommodate diverse learner needs. 2. Know your students. Get to know your students' strengths, challenges, interests, and preferences. Consider factors such as learning styles, cultural backgrounds, language proficiency, and individual goals. This information will guide your decisions when designing instruction. Finally, 3. Set clear learning objectives. Identify the key concepts and skills you want students to learn during the lesson. Ensure that these objectives are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That's right, we're using SMART goals with our school planning. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, our breakout session. Use this time to discuss with your cohorts and your peers activities and lesson plans that address UDL Checkpoint 4. I have provided additional slides that you may explore to see if these lessons or activities might appeal to you or your students to use in the future. Interactive reading stations, graphic organizers and concept maps, multimedia presentations with guided notes, literature circles with flexible text options, digital storytelling projects. These activities and lesson plans incorporate UDL principles by providing multiple means of representation, engagement, and expression to support comprehension for all learners. They allow students to engage with content in ways that align with their individual strengths, preferences, and needs, fostering a more inclusive learning environment. This concludes our professional development on UDL Checkpoint 2.4. I have included the references in the last 6 slides or UDL lessons and activities you can try in your own classrooms. I want to express my gratitude to you all for your engagement and commitment to professional growth. Until next time.